Welcome to Newslaundry Chhota Hafta. For the full episode, subscribe because it is behind the paywall and only subscribers get access to uncut, complete content. Newslaundry Hafta is our weekly wrap of all that made the news, all that didn't, and all that should have and all that shouldn't have. We agree, we disagree, we critique, and occasionally we beat each other up. But it's all good fun. Subscribe.
This is a Newslaundry podcast and you're listening to NL Hafta.
अंग्रेज अपना लगान और न्यूज़ लॉन्ड्री अपना हफ्ता कभी नहीं छोड़ते. Welcome to another episode of Hafta. We're recording this on Thursday the 16th of March at 3 in the afternoon. And it has been a news-packed week because we've had a few slow news weeks the last month or so. But this one was packed. Before we get into the headlines, which we have had it was quite a task packing in all these headlines. Let me introduce the panel. In the studio, with me is our editor-in-chief, Raman Kirpal.
Hi.
Sir. Our host of Nuisance, and I hope you watch Nuisance this week because Manisha is going to be decoding what is Lutyens media. It's a very promising episode. Welcome, Manisha.
Hello.
Joining us on the phone line from Chennai is our very own Jayashree. Hi, Jayashree.
Hi, hello.
And also joining us on the phone line is Somnath Waghmare. Hi, Somnath.
Hi.
Where are you joining us from?
I'm joining from TISS Mumbai.
You're in Mumbai right now. Be careful. I believe a lot of leopards around in TISS, no?
Yeah. Lot of right-wing leopard also.
This year around crazy pollution, Bombay is making headlines.
Yeah,
for
Bombay is
pollution.
overtaking Delhi for once. But
Yeah.
for those of our audience who are not familiar with Somnath's work, he's a documentary filmmaker and a PhD scholar. Like you just heard, he's based out of TISS in Mumbai. He's also the founder of Begumpura Films. It's a production house that's documenting the life and resistance of Dalits in India. One of his most recent films, if not the most, is Battle of Bhima Koregaon. It was critically received and screened all over the world and in many parts of India as well. And another documentary by Somnath is I Am Not a Witch. And you can, there are links to both these documentaries will be in the show notes. You can click on the links and check them out. But Somnath, what is Battle of Bhima Koregaon about?
Bhima Koregaon is now very popular and what we say, it's like a lot of stories around the history.
Yes, it
But
made news.
my film,
it made news.
I made film before 2018. My film was we released my film in 2017. April on Ambedkar Jayanti, there was first film screening on Film Institute Pune. So there is like clarification that my film and the post 2018 that riot happened, then like the arrest happened, and there are different versions. So there is no connection of my film and this whole post 2018 narrative. My film is like basically the oral history of Bhima Koregaon. I just collect what is the side of Dalit. Okay, because this history is never written by any scholar or anyone, even not right, not left, not liberal. And my film is about what is the people, like what is their because I also heard this Bhima Koregaon story in my childhood. So this is like a part of memory, and this film deal the celebration of Dalit life and the history connection of the history.
So the
and politics.
significance of Bhima Koregaon, other than because of the violence that occurred there, and then the court cases and all that stuff happened, but the significance of Bhima Koregaon before that is what for our audience?
Yeah, look, Bhima Koregaon is very popular in Maharashtra. The battle history is like look, if you're born in Maharashtrian like Dalit families, especially in Dalit families, 3-4 histories are very important. One is a figure, Dr. Ambedkar. Second is the Bhima Koregaon, and third is how the caste affect you. So we learn about the caste and this oppression and untouchability in our childhood. So before that, Bhima Koregaon is like not part of mainstream academia or mainstream cinema or media, but Bhima Koregaon was part of the very positive assertion way of the Dalit community of Maharashtra.
So what was the battle that was fought there that is remembered or celebrated as
that battle? There are a lot of films on Peshwa. Okay, mostly the Bollywood filmmaker, they glorify Peshwas, and nobody tell how Peshwai end. Peshwa was a Brahmin. And they follow exact what written on Manusmriti. What Manusmriti say about the Dalits and untouchables. So they're following in their rule, and that rule was a Maratha rule, but the first time the ruler is a Brahmin ruler. And they are practicing untouchability high numbers, and the community, the Mahar community, whose belonged Dr. Ambedkar also was a Mahar. Later he converted in Buddhism. So they are exploiting in the the Peshwa period. So they joined British army and they fought the Peshwa. And then Peshwa built a pillar. And Dr. Ambedkar visit, then people are starting celebrations. So that is the,
it was a battle that was won by the Dalit community against the Peshwas.
Yeah, against the Peshwa. There is no, and then the right wing, they make this narrative like, national versus anti-national. This battle is anti-national. So there is like, this is the myth actually, because that time there is this concept of nation is very different.
Correct. It wasn't as it. I mean, in fact, everyone from, with due respect to them, I mean, I don't hold it against them, but everyone from Lakshmi Bai to all the other kings were fighting for their kingdom. They were not fighting for India's independence. So, it wasn't like Rani Lakshmi Bai decided to fight the British before the doctrine of lapse came. Only when the doctrine of lapse came and she realized that she won't be able to keep her kingdom is when she decided to battle. So
Battle of Koregaon is basically it's a third Anglo-Maratha war. And Mahars, like he said, fought with the company against the Peshwa rule, which was oppressive.
Got it. So, yes, we shall hear your views on the Oscars this year and also on the other issues we shall be discussing. But before that, I have a couple of announcements. We have a whole flurry of events coming up. In Delhi, we have a Freedom of Expression conference. This we had last year as well. This is the second. I hope you were able to attend it last year. If you weren't, well, on the 1st of April, and it's not a joke. It is actually, that is the date we chose because it is when we got the booking and a lot of the guests are available. At the Kamala Devi complex on IIC, do come, all our subscribers. You are welcome. And we have another event happening in Kochi, which you will hear more about. This is being done in partnership with Josie Joseph's Confluence Media and the News Minute, the co-founder of which Dhanya Rajendran has just won the Chameli Devi Award. So big yay up to her. And finally, I will be in Michigan for a conference from the 6th to the 9th. So we will be having a subscriber meet and Ann Arbor. If you would like to participate in that subscriber meet, write to us at subscription@newslaundry.com. I repeat, subscription@newslaundry.com, and we'll tell you where the meet is, etc., etc. On that note, let's have the headlines and then we can get in the discussion, Manisha.
Yes, it's a big week for India. Big win at the Oscars. Song Natu Natu from RRR won the Best Original Score. And Karthiki Gonzalez, The Elephant Whisperers, won in the Best Documentary Short Film category. Several petitions were filed in various high courts seeking legal recognition of same-sex marriages. The government in its affidavit opposed the petition, saying that same-sex marriages are not comparable with the Indian family unit concept. RSS also echoed the government's view and said marriage is about sanskar and it is not an instrument of enjoyment. Very Catholic view.
Yes. And there was a big, not just in High Court, there was a big deal in the Supreme Court also, with the governors becoming part of politics to topple elected governments. This was, quote unquote, a serious concern. This is referring to the Maharashtra Governor B.S. Koshyari, when he asked the Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray to face a floor test on June 30th. And this bench that consists of Justice Chandrachud, Justice Shah, Krishna Murani and Hema Kohli and P.S. Narasimhan said the revolt was an internal matter of Shiv Sena and that is not enough reason to call a vote of confidence.
Yes.
And by doing this, the governors are actively playing a part in toppling governments. But what I want to ask is that even if they were to win the case, you can't undo that, right? Now, Shinde will remain Chief Minister, right?
No, I think
I don't think
be
you
undone
can...
if
No, that
even
would be
even if the Supreme Court says that it was unconstitutional, it was out of line for the governor to call for a floor test.
It won't apply
there will be fresh
retrospectively.
elections.
I don't think so.
There'll be fresh elections.
Fresh
Because that's it.
Meanwhile, the same-sex marriages case has been referred to a 5-judge constitution bench. All the persons identified as declared foreigners in Assam were shifted to the Gwalpara district's Matia transit camp. This is the largest detention center in the state. India retained its status of being a partially free country for the third consecutive year in an annual report by Freedom House, the Washington-based pro-democracy think tank.
Standing by for Professor Babonis to be interviewed on all the legacy media channels telling us how this is complete bullshit, because of course no one in Indian and a brown skin will be able to have the authority that Professor Babonis will have.
The centre on Saturday told states and union territories to closely monitor the trend of influenza-like illnesses and expressed concern about a gradual increase in the COVID-19 positivity rate. 4 people have died so far owing to the H3N2 influenza virus. These deaths occurred in Karnataka, Haryana and Maharashtra.
And in fact, so many people we know, including Delhi, and our producer is also has a cold, and the cold has been threatening to knock at the doors of my sinuses and throat for the last 2 weeks, and I've been fighting it off. But everyone in office is also getting it.
Yeah.
Stormy scenes in Parliament continue this week. The houses were adjourned for 4 times after the Bharatiya Janata Party demanded an apology from Congress leader Rahul Gandhi for his speech in the United Kingdoms.
That picture's taken in front of Parliament House, and that's where a whole bunch of opposition members of Parliament were just standing there talking about certain issues, and we were just locked up and put in jail. And that's happened 3 or 4 times, right? And it's happened relatively violently. That's just an example. And you've also heard of the attack on minorities, the attack on the press. So you get a sense of what is going on.
And after a long time, we are seeing that long time, I think first time in the last decade at least, where it is the ruckus created by the ruling party that is causing the adjournments.
Maafi mango. That means they're feeling a bit nervous about this whole Adani thing.
Adani, basically. Yes, because they want to bring up Adani, and the Congress has taken out these morchas. Their march was stopped. They were marching to the ED office with why is Adani not been arrested?
No, but today, all the opposition, yesterday, the 2 parties were missing, TMC and NCP. So now they have also, participated in they have made a kind of chain, outside Parliament, demanding JPC against Adani.
That's a joint parliamentary committee.
And 16 opposition parties had actually walked to the ED office demanding work, and they were stopped by the Delhi police.
TMC and NCP were missing yesterday in that march, but today they have also joined.
A Delhi court on Wednesday granted bail to former Bihar Chief Ministers Lalu Prasad Yadav and Rabri Devi, as well as their daughter Meesa Bharti, in a corruption case. Meanwhile, Manish Sisodia continues to be in jail, and he's been booked in another corruption case by the CBI.
This is to do with the feedback unit.
Oh.
But to do with Lalu...
It's not a corruption case, it's a...
They're saying irregularity.
Oh.
Fraud, they're saying fraud also, but of course it doesn't matter, they don't have to prove anything. But coming to Lalu's case, in fact, today as we speak, the court, I think the Supreme Court or maybe it's the High Court, has rejected his son's plea. Jayashree had said that the questioning that is to be done, there should be no coercive action. It has been dismissed and he is going to be questioned.
The Bharatiya Rashtra Samiti's leader, K. Kavita, was also questioned by ED for 9 hours. This is again on the Delhi government's now scrapped liquor policy. And in fact, she'd been summoned and she didn't show up.
Today she moved.
She didn't show up. She didn't go. She didn't go for the EDs today, as we recall.
Today she moved Supreme Court. Basically her contention is whether a woman should be called into the office for...
So she didn't go for the summon. She didn't. But she's gone to court. But just 2 or 3 things that come to mind regarding this is, one is all the newspapers day before yesterday were, headline had that 200 crore worth property.
This is so unfair. It's all plant.
Tejasvi Yadav and 600 crore. No report said what's the breakdown. According to this, the one plot in Maharani Bagh that they are claiming is worth 200 crores. First of all, if they can get that kind of real estate prices, the ED should become a real estate broker. They will make up all the deficit that the government has ever faced, because there is no chance you'll even get 1/8 of that for that plot. So none of the reports said where is this number come from. ED says 600 crores. ED says 800 crores.
No, if you really want to decode all these reports, only one thing you need to see, that first of all, the language is going to be more or less the same. And they would not even be writing ED spokesperson. The vague ED. ED can be you, ED can be me. But they won't say anything. And ED on its part, because ED gives this informal,
briefings.
Talking to these reporters at 4 o'clock in their building. So informally they tell and they say that don't quote spokesperson, don't quote anyone. But you can write it, we won't deny that. That is it.
And kuch bhi pel do.
Kuch bhi pel do.
Any number you write.
Yes.
And also, the second thing that I noticed is that Sukesh Chandrasekhar, when he was being brought back from court, there was only one cop accompanying him. And these mics were right next to him. They were walking down the stairs with him and he was saying, मैं सबका बताऊंगा. I have paid Manish Sisodia so many crores. I have paid this one. These guys are running a mafia. I will tell everything. He did a full interview while walking down the stairs. When Manish Sisodia is brought to court and back, there are 8 layers between him and any mic or camera. So how is it decided that which prisoner, or even Zubair, when he had been arrested, there was no chance any mic could get close to him. So how is it decided that which prisoner, when he's going to court, will be able to amble through a sea of mic and say what he wants, and which one will not get to even see a mic?
So the ones who are...
But this is easy, right? I mean, it's obviously because Sukesh is throwing Kejriwal under the bus and saying that Sisodia and Jain are puppets and all.
Yeah.
So you want him to be picked up by the media. You want his quotes to be
exactly. So I think there's someone should file in court, like, how can the cops decide who the guy speaks to and who he doesn't?
एक राजू श्रीवास्तव होता था.
The comedian.
यूपी में. No, not comedian. Raju.
Bablu.
नहीं, पहला नाम शायद मैं confuse कर रहा हूँ.
Are you talking about the Don? Bablu?
Some Srivastav.
Bablu Srivastav.
He was arrested in UP. So they are also, I mean, what I have seen whenever I go to the court, people with the heinous crime, they are allowed to speak to the media, but
corruption types
but people corruption type and opposition parties, they can't.
In a disturbing series of events, calls for economic boycott of Muslims were made on Sunday during a rally organized by Hindutva organization near Mumbai. This organization is called the Sakal Hindu Samaj, and you can read a story on Newslaundry on their operations.
Link
and
is
it's not the first time that they've made these calls. A 56-year-old man was lynched by a mob on Wednesday on suspicion that he was carrying beef in Bihar's Saran district. 2 days after the Silicon Valley Bank in the United States was declared insolvent, authorities on Sunday announced that New York-based Signature Bank has also failed and its assets were being seized. Financial services company HSBC Holdings announced on Monday that its ring-fence subsidiary in the United Kingdom is acquiring the UK arm of Silicon Valley Bank for £1.
And today, as we record this, yesterday the Credit Suisse started collapsing. So did BNP Paribas and Societe Generale. But the one big collapse was Credit Suisse, which shares prices went down 30%, but then they came back up and they closed at 24% down. But the Swiss government apparently is saying that their Fed is going to, give $54 billion so that it probably won't sink.
Number of Indians illegally crossing over into the United Kingdom across the English Channel has increased sharply to 683 last year from 67 in 2021. That's data from the British government. The Chinese parliament on Friday unanimously endorsed the third 5-year term for President Xi Jinping, state-run Xinhua news agency reported. He was congratulated by the Kerala CM.
Pinarayi Vijayan, who said something, I forget the words
Not
he
Modi.
used.
Modi didn't congratulate him.
He said revolutionary greeting.
Revolutionary leader, correct.
The Islamabad police on Tuesday clashed with supporters of Imran Khan outside his home in Lahore as officers arrived to arrest the former Pakistan Prime Minister. This is a case of corruption, and before the police forces came in, Imran Khan gave this video bite to his supporters that
he tweeted out this
लड़ाई
address.
खत्म नहीं होनी चाहिए.
आपने अपने हकूक के लिए, हकीकी आज़ादी के लिए आपने जदोजहद करनी और निकलना बाहर. देखिए, इमरान खान को अल्लाह ने सब कुछ दे चुका है. मैं आपकी ये जंग लड़ रहा हूं. मैं तो अपनी सारी जिंदगी जंग लड़ी और लड़ता रहूंगा. लेकिन अगर मुझे कुछ होता है या जेल में जाता हूं या मार देते हैं, तो आपने ये साबित करना है कि इमरान खान के बगैर भी ये कौम जदोजहद करेगी और ये बदतरीन गुलामी इन चोरों की और ये जो एक आदमी फैसले कर रहा है इस मुल्क के, ये कभी आप कबूल नहीं करेंगे.
So he's worded very carefully, clearly. Yeah. He's not inciting them to violence, but kind of saying that, dude, let havoc prevail if they come for me.
Former soccer star Gary Lineker will be back at the BBC this weekend. He was suspended last week after he criticized the government's new asylum policy on Twitter, basically comparing it to Nazi Germany, the language of it.
Yeah, he didn't compare the government to, and that was one of the reasons. But yeah, we'll discuss in some detail. But first, let's discuss the Oscars. So, Somnath, I just wanted your view. First of all, have you seen The Elephant Whisperers? what is the best time or way to critique a film's politics, social politics?
Okay, yeah, look, the whole history of Indian cinema is a history of the glorification of Indian dominant caste. There is nothing, you take any cinema of India, even the Marathi cinema, you found that like 90% Marathi cinemas are the story of the privileged group, privileged caste group. And the same pattern is this RRR, and lot of his films are just the glorification and normalization and the maintain their supremacy, their historical supremacy. These films are nothing, and at a time they are like they say these films are some part of history, but they are making this history in a very Hindutva way. So this is like an old Bollywood style. They are like just take any film, even the Shah Rukh Khan films also. You take Shah Rukh Khan's any film and see which caste character Shah Rukh Khan play in the film. You found 90% films are upper caste characters. Shah Rukh Khan play upper caste characters. So as a Muslim, I like Shah Rukh Khan, but on screen he always play a Savarna boy. Okay. So this is another problem. And documentary films, I have a problem with people who are coming from the privileged background, coming from the Savarna background, and going to village, going to marginal communities, bastis, using their stories and making a films and not allowing them a space like equal recognition. When this the Khabar areas story come in public domain, the film come in a public domain, they make a note against the film. And the film is entire about the story of Dalit women. And even I am okay with sometime at least add someone from the community. If that Tamil Nadu film, like the story of the elephant, why not the person from the community in the team, like the equal position? So this is just a using marginal stories and making our careers. Marginal groups, they are criticizing Oscar. Okay, many years ago, Oscar is a white Oscar. So they are starting diversity policy, I think in 2021. It's like a similar policy of reservation policy. And they are mentioning that they are allowing the ethnic group, Asian ethnic group, historical marginal group. So we need to check which category they got an award.
Right.
I would agree. I think the Academy Awards becoming increasingly irrelevant, and I think this push for diversity, for inclusivity, is one way to sort of stay in the public eye. So, in my opinion, it is okay. Look, the Oscars have celebrated mediocre films from time immemorial, so we should not be very surprised. But if they're now celebrating average films by Asians and people of color, why not? I mean, it's better than celebrating unremarkable films by white people. So that's my first point. My second thing about RRR is that, yes, it is a problematic film. It does subtly and not subtly propagate a lot of right-wing tropes, but then so do a lot of other films in Bollywood across India. And I think the main problem is that we're taking the Oscars extremely seriously and treat it with an importance when, at the end of the day, it is an American award that has a lot of recall. But it's not like it whitewashes the sins of films. It celebrates films like Titanic and Crash and The King's Speech. And it just ticks a certain number of Hollywood boxes. And at the end of the day, the Oscars are at its core California liberalism. This is not a particularly progressive strand of politics by any measure. It's why also I think a documentary like Navalny won, because this allows it to telegraph what they believe on Russian politics. But that's the extent of how political the Academy Awards will get.
I would like to keep politics out of, this Oscar or whatever. I do not think that Oscars have become irrelevant. I feel Oscars still nominate some. I mean, I watched Fableman, which is pretty good. I normally watch all the movies before Oscar announces awards, and then I make my own list also. And All Quiet on the Western Front, very nicely made movie. Yes, I mean, RRR, I found it very ordinary movie. Apart from the politics, and yes, Elephant Whisperers, when I saw that, I said it when I recommended it, I think 2 weeks ago in Hafta. I said that this movie took my heart away because it was story of those two tribal persons, who are rearing an elephant kid. And I mean, the thought does come to your mind if the film makers have exploited them, and also this thought came to my mind whether they have acted as an actor, so were they paid for it? Today I liked when that is again some kind of politics, when the chief minister felicitated both the actors and he paid 1 lakh each to each one of them today. Yesterday it came out in the newspaper today. So Elephant Whisperer is very well made movie. It's a 35 minutes long. Good narration. I like the movie. I liked it.
Yes, also. So as a celebration of songs in India, the whole song and dance routine, the beats, the dance, I think I get why it won, and I haven't watched the movie, so I really don't know much about it. I'm sad that Banshees of Inisherin didn't get anything. I think they should have got Best Screenplay and Best Actor.
In fact, that is
sad. It was so good.
One of the criticisms there was that
Best Screenplay they should have gotten. I don't think any movies come close to it in a very long time. And Best Actor also. I think Colin Farrell was just spectacular. Though I haven't seen Whale. I don't know how.
Whale I haven't.
On the documentary bit, look, I think cast, it's not just movies, journalism, judiciary, politics, maybe less in politics actually. But it permeates everything we do, and I think it's good to make upper caste filmmakers, journalists, I'm saying that because I'm a journalist, conscious of how they behave, what their conduct is, especially when they're working with subjects where there's a power dynamic. So in this case especially, you have a couple at the center of the story. Again, I haven't seen it, but it's a couple at the center of the story living in a forest and tribal community. So there is a power dynamic there. So it's good to question the filmmakers on what they did when it came to treatment of the couple. When it came to, there were questions asked of, did you call them for the screening? And then the filmmaker clarified that we did organize a screening for them. Or in terms of also remuneration. So I think in this case, the Tamil Nadu CM has now announced 1 lakh for each caretaker. But I don't know, between the film and the couple, what were the dynamics? Or was there a contract signed that, okay, we open up our life to you in lieu of X amount of money? So it's good to ask these questions.
One is on RRR, we had I gave it a pretty crappy review in other podcast.
I'm going to watch it
and
now.
There was a huge pushback. You're trolled that you North Indians. See, everything has become identity politics is important. You cannot have politics without identity. So I think, the overreaction of social media is being used by some platforms to dismiss identity politics. I think identity politics is a tautology. Politics cannot be without identity. That is central to anyone's politics. So I think that is an important aspect. But any criticism of any piece of work, like I also, gave a unflattering review to Kantara. I said, I don't know what the big deal is. Why was it celebrated? So I got a lot of pushback that you're not a tribal, you don't know anything. It is a brilliant film. North Indian, upper caste, urban person, you have no right to talk about Kantara. No, that is dumb. That is just daft.
Absolutely.
Like, Kantara is a over-the-top film with overacting. Now, it could be based in Mumbai, Delhi, Hyderabad or a forest. Overacting is overacting. So, anyway, that was my view. But everything becomes our identity. You cannot critique something because you are not that identity, and you cannot make something. Now, having said that, I think, it's a very important point of who tells the story. And I remember Green Book had also got this criticism. It's a story about a black artist and that white chauffeur takes him around.
That's a spectacular movie.
Now, it's a very good film. But the politics of that was that that's a white savior. I think
he's driving. He's the driver.
I think the driver was nominated as a supporting actor or actor. I don't remember. There was some major controversy regarding that also. And I get it. I get that has to be discussed. Coming to who tells the stories, the fact is a fairly affluent upper caste person has no remarkable story to tell. What makes a dramatic story? Odds make a dramatic story. Yeah. Unfamiliar setting makes a dramatic story. Going against the odds for something like the whole Khabar Lahariya thing. Like the odds of women in a caste-ridden society belonging to a marginalized community and women. Now, one cannot make a documentary film, or they've made a documentary film about those, newsrooms in the US, which were bought over, which is in that Netflix, we've discussed it, I forget the name of that film, where this, Las Vegas billionaire bought over this newspaper and then how they colluded to do a story against the guy who had bought them over. Now that's a dramatic story. अब ऐसा कोई ड्रामा हमारी लाइफ में होता नहीं. We live a comfortable life. कई बार रेड हो जाता है पुलिस, but that's as dramatic as it gets. And he's been an unpleasant prick for a while. I mean,
it's not that Hugh Grant is pulling out a new thing. Okay, yes, maybe he could have been more like genuine, more fun, more cuddly. But yeah, he wasn't. I don't see the big deal. Second, the Malala joke, again, I don't see the big deal. I think Jimmy Kimmel asked her what she thought. First, he said, "Oh, congrats on your movie." Like, ha, ha, ha. Then he said, so what did you think of the entire controversy of Harry Styles spitting on Chris Pine? And she said, "I'm only here to talk about peace." So then again, Jimmy Kimmel said, "Oh, great answer." Like, that's it. Literally nothing else has happened. And then there was another third controversy, I think, which was pulled out of thin air, which was when Jamie Lee Curtis won Best Supporting Actor. In her so Angela Bassett was also up for the same award for Wakanda Forever, and she lost. So in the few seconds after the winner was announced, like her face sort of crumbles and you can see that she's upset. But obviously, would you not be upset? So they're like, "See, here is another. She had to hide her tears. No, like, you are manufacturing things based off maybe 5 tweets on Twitter, which then go viral, and then it sort of spawns this entire narrative of how all these things happened at the Oscars when nothing happened. And Piers Morgan is an idiot. I mean, I think we all know that. Any topic, but very like
and align with whoever can give him visibility. He's a slightly more intelligent version of Sohail Seth, basically.
I don't know if that's insulting to Piers Morgan or Sohail Seth.
No, I think it's insulting to Piers Morgan.
Last year in Oscar, we had this slapgate. Somebody slapped someone.
That was the big.
So that was big. So I think the media or somebody they were looking for those moments of controversy. I mean, what could be the more controversial? So I think that is it. But I also didn't find anything controversial.
But thanks to the Oscars, finally our parliamentarians sat down together for some time at least and talked without screaming and shouting and walking out at each other. There was a discussion in the upper house.
With Nattu and...
with Jaya Bachchan. And there was a slight kind of thing where one of the MPs said it's a movie from the South and South movies are winning. And then Jaya Bachchan said, "No, not South, not North. We are Indians." So there was this little friction, which was funny.
All of you listening in, the Chhota Hafta, do subscribe so you can listen to the entire Hafta. We will see you again next week with the Hafta. Till then, subscribe, pay to keep news free, because when the public pays, the public is served. When advertisers pay, advertisers are served. Thank you. Goodbye.
All the Newslaundry podcasts are available on Stitcher, iTunes, and any other podcast platform.
Please subscribe to Newslaundry. Help us keep news independent. To catch all our podcasts on news, pop culture, current affairs, and sport, visit newslaundry.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. Sun liya Afrika, mufat khoro. Not to brag or anything, but Newslaundry Hafta features in the top 50 in the world on SoundCloud in the news and politics category for podcasts. So do subscribe and see what you're missing, because when the public pays, the public is served. When advertisers pay, advertisers are served. Subscribe, help keep news independent and free. All Newslaundry podcasts are available on iTunes and Stitcher and any other podcast platform.